Now, our penultimate award for this evening is the Media Award. This is a national award that recognises outstanding achievements in media that have made a difference to the lives of LGBTI people. This award is sponsored by our principal partner, Dowson Turco Lawyers. Will you please welcome Dowson Turco Lawyers partner, Nicholas Stewart, and previous Media Award honoree, Patrick Aboud.
Thank you, Maddie. It's a great honour to be presenting this category, particularly with previous Media Award honoree, Patrick Aboud. Dowson Turco Lawyers is proud to be the principal partner of this year's awards for the second year in a row and to be presenting the media category. We are twice recipients of an honour award, so we know too well the thrill and impact of being recognised by your peers. We're very excited to again to be able to play a big part in this wonderful celebration of our community's strength and achievements. This award is all about recognising people who are committed to the pursuit of truth and justice, values that lie at the heart of Dowson Turco Lawyers. As Sydney's only out loud and proud LGBTI law firm, we know the importance of speaking up for those who can't, shining a light on wrongs no matter how uncomfortable or painful, and words and stories can make an impact. These 4 inspirational finalists are doing just that. Through their work, they are bringing attention to our lives and experiences, and in the process, educating others and making a difference to so many in our community. Without further ado, the finalists for the Media Award are
Seb Starcevich, for his portfolio of articles published in a range of outlets that have put LGBTIQ issues front and centre. Most recently, Seb has worked tirelessly on an investigative series that shines a light on historical LGBT hate crimes in Victoria. Lisa Pellegrino, for over 10 years of work in radio and stage with a strong focus on LGBTIQ people and stories, mostly in Darwin and the Northern Territory. Lisa continues to provide a forum for city, regional, bush and remote LGBTIQ stories to be shared. Peter Fitzsimons, for his courage, tenacity and leadership as a journalist, columnist and presenter, speaking out on key sporting issues affecting LGBTIQ people. Peter uses his platform to advocate for greater inclusion within Australian sport and to support initiatives that combat homophobia. Gary Nunn, for his extensive body of work shining a light on LGBTIQ issues in Australian and global media. Gary's writings in outlets such as the BBC, the Sydney Morning Herald, The Guardian, ABC and 10 Daily have helped draw mainstream attention to key issues affecting LGBTIQ communities.
Wow, what an impressive bunch. Winning this award back in 2016 contributed massively to many people in this room and many members of our community, I guess, trusting me with their most deeply intimate personal stories and taking those to the masses. So it was a huge leap up for me, and it's a real honour to be here tonight celebrating the next wave of storytellers. I wonder who the winner is, shall we see? Tonight's winner of the Media Award is Peter Fitzsimmons.
Thank you very much. I'm honestly very humbled and honoured to receive such an award. My dad taught me many years ago, son, nobody ever made a bad 2-minute speech. And I intended to come up and make a 1-minute speech, but just sitting over there, so many angles occurred to me, I think I'll blow it out to 3 minutes, because there's a couple of things I do want to say. I'm very surprised. I've never got an award in my life for my writing. I did, no, 1995. The Australian Cricket Board called me and said, we want you to put your story forward on Keith Miller for best writing. And I said, will I win? And they said, yes. And I said, all right, I put it forward, and I still didn't win. And on this one, I wasn't so presumptuous to ask, but I am really honoured. And I just want to say, looking out, just sitting over there and watching this all take place, the line came to me, I am, you are, we are Australian. And what a great Australian event this is. As somebody who writes about Australian culture and Australian history, I think the great notion of Australia, the thing that ideally unites us, is that we're all equal beneath the Southern Cross. But like the Americans in that Declaration of Independence, when I think was it Thomas Jefferson who said the famous line, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. It took 100 years or so before the idea spread, well, it actually should be all men and women. And then it took another 50 years or so, well, it actually should be black people as well. And it took another 100 years for Jewish people and homosexual people and the rest. And in Australia, we've had a similar thing, that we're all equal beneath the Southern Cross, but it took a long time for the idea to be that women too, and people with disabilities and gay people. And what we've seen in the last 50 years is this extraordinary growth, this explosion of celebration, that we're all equal beneath the Southern Cross. And so tonight, as somebody who's an outsider to your community, you'd allow me just to say how impressive it is that you have such an event as this and honour such people. But I'm almost done. I look out and I see people like my mate, Andrew Purchase, who I know very well, who, you know, like, and Robert French, who came up here. I don't know Robert French, but you mentioned Lex Watson, who was my lecturer at Sydney University way back when. And I'm keenly aware that this room is filled with people who push forward gay activism, who push forward the cause of equality, night and day, week on week, month by month, year by year. I am not that. Of the things that I do, writing on gay issues is the easiest thing I do. There are many times as a journalist for the Sydney Morning Herald that you have to look at difficult issues and sometimes very dull issues. And lately in rugby, there's been endless dull discussion about whether the particular tackle by a particular bloke was or wasn't head high, you know, and did it millimetre. I don't know, and I don't give a fuck. And so I find it difficult to write about. On gay issues, writing in the mainstream press, I find it easy, and it's so bloody obvious. Seriously, there are seriously people out there saying that if we have same-sex marriage, there'll be packs of gays hunting Christian bakers down the street, you know, and people will marry Bridges. I mean, give me a hard one. I can knock that out in 20 minutes. Gays are going to go to hell unless they repent. Are we in the fucking 21st century or what? Where does this stuff come from? And so for me, it's easy to write. And I've enjoyed writing it, and I've been honoured by the response. Not honoured, but I don't know, a lot of gay people come up to me and give me a hug. And I'm honoured, I'm humbled. And so my final thing is, you'll be pleased to hear, not all of the stuff that I write on gay issues is on sort of controversial stuff, and I finish on the late, great Captain Moonlight. I don't know if you know about Captain Moonlight, but I wrote about Captain Moonlight. He was I think it was at Forbes that he was captured, and the great love of his life, James Nisbet, died in his arms, Jimmy, and he got a lock of his hair before he died. And in the jail there at Darlinghurst, he was about to be hanged in 1880, and he asked to be buried with a lock of his hair. I mean, if you're going to be a gay bushranger, I don't think you could get a better name than Captain Moonlight. Would that be fair? That's as good as it gets. But his last wish was to be buried with Jimmy. And he wasn't buried with Jimmy, he was buried in Rookwood Cemetery. And until 1995, two fabulous women from Gundagai, where Jimmy was buried, found out about the story. They raised $6,000 and they exhumed him from Rookwood Cemetery, and he now lies for all eternity beneath the Southern Cross, beneath the eucalypt tree, beside Jimmy Nisbet. This one's for Captain Moonlight. Thank you, goodbye.